We continue to keep watch over the La Soufrière volcanic activity. Of course, the seismic unrest continues into today. Our thoughts and prayers going out to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia, as well as Barbados. We know Barbados is more affected at this time with ash fall and, of course, resultant air quality issues. We do hope everyone is keeping safe at this time. Special good morning to you. My name is Jessie Leonce. This is the morning update live on NTN. We're coming to you from the GIS studios, the Information Command Center to be exact. If you're watching on air, online, a special good morning to you. For those of you joining us from the diaspora, St. Lucian residents here on island looking to keep abreast as to what's happening. These are the latest updates from the government of St. Lucia. We have the La Soufrière scientific update as at 6 a.m. this morning. I'll be providing you that in just a moment. Also, the work that St. Lucia is doing to assist St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We do have an update on that as well. Ms. Cheryl St. Romain from the Ministry of Health and Wellness has issued a press statement on precautionary measures. St. Lucia is in the path of potential ashfall. Of course, we do hope that you are keeping safe. I repeat, there are some precautionary measures that can be taken during this time. And we take a look at the week that was, the COVAX shipment arrival. Unfortunately, due to some technical difficulties, both today and on Saturday, just going back to Saturday, we were unable to bring you the week in review. And so I will touch on some of the highlights of last week. The primary thing, I think, being the COVAX shipment arrival, the first shipment we've received from that facility. So stay tuned for the next hour or so. We'll also go over the latest COVID-19 statistics figures for St. Lucia. So stay with us for the next hour or so as we deliver these latest updates.
Oi, you realize you step on my toe?
Well, do something about it.
Gasai, bust in that man.
Hold on. If somebody try to cross you, and the mad things start to take you, no need for war or violence, cause the police there to help you. If a trouble start in this session, alright, no need for aggression. We don't want no violence in the place. Control your temper, respect each other. Don't let no trouble escalate, cause you know better. Control your temper, respect each other. Don't let no trouble escalate, cause you know better. Control your temper. A message from Mission Boys, Studio 758, Acid Creations, and the Royal St. Lucia Police Force.
Thank you so much for staying with us. This is the morning update live on NTN. We're starting with our watch over La Soufrière. The seismic unrest continues from Friday. We've so far seen quite a few explosions during the course of the weekend. And there are reports from the scientists that this situation could last for weeks. So as at today, Monday, the 12th of April, 2021, at 6 a.m., we received word from the authorities that explosions with pyroclastic density currents at La Soufrière is happening since midday on April 11th. The time between episodes of high amplitude tremor has lengthened from 1.5 to 4 hours to 5 to 8 hours. The episodes continue to coincide with periods of enhanced venting or explosive activity. Small volcano-tectonic earthquakes were recorded starting at about 6 p.m. on the 11th. Many of you remember. Small volcano-tectonic earthquakes were recorded starting at about 6 p.m. on 11th April. At about 4:15 a.m., observations this morning from the Belmont Observatory indicated that pyroclastic density currents, that's PDC, entered multiple valleys surrounding the volcano. Pyroclastic density currents are as hot as 200 degrees Celsius to 700 degrees Celsius, ground-hugging flows of ash and debris. And many of you would have seen quite a few of the visuals from residents there showing what the situation is looking like. First, starting with the effects of the ash fall, and now we're starting to see the pyroclastic flows. Analysis of satellite imagery and comparison with previous images indicate that the explosive eruptions thus far have destroyed the pre-existing domes from 1979 and this year, and the current explosions are being generated from a new vent That's the update that we're receiving from the authorities. The volcano continues to erupt explosively and is generating pyroclastic density currents, that is lava, for want of a better word. Explosions and accompanying ashfall of similar or larger magnitude are likely to continue to occur over the next few days. You can on your own go online and get some more information as to what's happening at the La Soufriere volcano in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We know that Barbados is also experiencing some ashfall. As a matter of fact, in broad daylight, the ashfall blocked the sun in Barbados, and we so far have been experiencing some overcast weather associated with not just the ashfall but also the Saharan dust making its way to our part of the world. You can go onto the website ivhhn.org/information10 to get some more information. That is the International Volcanic Hazard Health Network for volcanic ash information resources. To get some more information, familiarize yourself as we have with the COVID-19 pandemic to be better prepared should we also have to respond in an urgent situation to this volcano. St. Lucia is playing its part with respect to the eruptions that are happening. We saw last week the evacuation of the northern residents of St. Vincent, and so far there are works ongoing to accommodate these individuals. We have a release coming from the government of St. Lucia asking persons, residents here on island to register for accommodating evacuees. If you are able, if you have the ability, the accommodation, you can register, fill out a registration form to accommodate evacuees at your home. The government of St. Lucia has launched this program to try to assist the situation. The form is to be filled out by St. Lucians, residents of St. Lucia who are willing and have the capability to house Vincentians displaced by the eruption of the La Soufriere volcano. And during an update to the nation and press briefing on Friday, 9th April, it was announced that St. Lucia will accept a number of evacuees, and the government, through the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, would welcome St. Lucians who are able to assist by opening up their homes to register their interest or ability. They are setting up a structure for any St. Lucian family that wants to accommodate a Vincentian family, and this is a time when we get to show our support for our brothers and sisters in the Sister Isle in need and assist them in any small way that we can. Interested St. Lucians can fill out the registration form, which can be accessed on the Government of St. Lucia website. You could go on to govt.lc and get the form there, or you could also go on to the website cognitoforms.com/gits1/GOSLSVG to be of assistance in this regard. We are preparing to accommodate the evacuees, and the work ongoing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in terms of sorting out and dealing with these individuals. About 16,000 residents have been displaced due to this volcano. It's happening assiduously. There is a lot of, it's feverish right now in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we know that when they come, hopefully we can provide some bit of calm and peace in this very tumultuous time for these people. The government of St. Lucia also has provided assistance to some 139 OECS citizens. Still, the work around the response to this volcanic eruption is continuing. The 139 OECS citizens who are part of the Seasonal Agricultural Workers Program have been assisted by St. Lucia as they were stranded in St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a result of the eruption of the La Soufriere volcano. The agricultural workers, that's 98 Vincentians, 18 St. Lucians, and 23 Grenadians, were en route for Canada for employment on the Seasonal Agricultural Workers Program when their flight from the island to Canada was cancelled. The workers arrived via cruise ship, that's Serenade of the Seas, on Saturday, 10th April, and will remain in St. Lucia for a few days until they can board a flight to Canada. So we do have a report. I believe Lisa Joseph did visit the location where they were at. Do take a look at some of the scenes of these workers being received by St. Lucia.
The government of St. Lucia is providing assistance to 139 OECS citizens who are part of the Seasonal Agriculture Workers Program after they were stranded in St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a result of the eruption of the La Soufriere volcano. The agricultural workers, 98 Vincentians, 18 St. Lucians and 23 Grenadians, were en route to Canada for employment on Canadian farms when their flight from St. Vincent to Canada was cancelled. The workers arrived in St. Lucia on Saturday, 10th April 2021 via cruise ship Serenade of the Seas and will remain in St. Lucia until new flight arrangements. A second group of workers are in Barbados. Nadia Pierre-Louis is the employment officer in the Department of Labor.
We are in discussion with the Eastern Caribbean Liaison Service, and they're going to say to us when another charter can be arranged. From the looks of things, we're looking at about Tuesday for them leaving St. Lucia onto Canada, but we also have another batch of workers who are stuck in Barbados, and because of the visibility problems, we are not able to have them to come into St. Lucia as yet.
The situation remains very fluid. In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, tremors lasting up to 20 minutes have continued to be recorded, with periods of explosive activity or enhanced venting at the volcano. Heavy ashfall is affecting the island as well as neighboring islands, particularly Barbados and St. Lucia. Explosions and accompanying ashfall of similar or larger magnitude are likely to continue to occur over the next few days. Chairman of the Command Center and Minister for Tourism, Information Broadcasting and Creative Industries, Honorable Dominic Fede, was at Point Seraphim to welcome the seasonal farm workers. He says government is more than willing to assist one of the island's closest neighbors in this extremely difficult time.
And we have so much in common in terms of our size. We're in the same geographic region. We speak the same language. The culture is, you have some similarities. And so it is natural for you to come to the rescue of your neighbor in its time of need. And this is really the ethos that has really underpinned the response that has taken place. So the Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, very good partner for the Eastern Caribbean, and the significant work that they have done. It is good that they see it is important to ensure that the destinations or the places that they would bring their customers to are catered to in their time of need, and to help in the rebuilding effort is really special, and it says a lot about their business philosophy.
The National Emergency Management Organization NEMO, the Ministry of Health, the St. Lucia Air and Seaports Authority SLASPA, the Ministry of Tourism, the Department of Labor and other relevant agencies are assisting in the coordination of the effort and ensuring all the necessary public health protocols are followed. Parker Ragnanan, the Chief Environmental Health Officer, and Vernon Fossois, Security Advisor, were among the team leaders overseeing the process.
Upon entering the island, they were screened for COVID-19, that is. Therefore, they went through a temperature check, a little bit of interview, and then after that port health clearance, they then proceeded to immigration for clearance, from which they boarded a bus and was taken to a quarantine facility.
The agencies would have known their role. Port Health, the cadets were involved, the NEMO agencies in several transportation. So a lot of agencies came together to ensure that we pull off this particular operation. I know the first set that we are dealing with now are more people for Ministry of Labor, but as far as the arrangement for it, we still had to pull everything together, and it generally worked out very smoothly.
The 139 farm workers will remain in quarantine, including the 18 St. Lucians, in order to ensure the health and safety of the group. Plans for the departure remain uncertain at this moment, given the effect of ashfall in Barbados and here in St. Lucia. In fact, SLASPA on the very Saturday evening took a decision out of an abundance of caution and in the interest of safety to shut down operations at the Hiranora International Airport as a cloud of volcanic ash was heading towards the runway. Minister Fede says government will do all within its power to meet the needs of the workers.
Based on the availability of flights, it will determine the time. If you look at what's taking place in Barbados, there's severe ash that's going towards Barbados. a hub really for aviation in the Eastern Caribbean. And then when you think of all the restrictions with COVID and all of the limitations in flights that are available, then that would pose some challenge in the number of seats available. Just today we saw that there were 2 that were delayed in coming for that very same reason. So what we have to do is to make sure that we work together and be there side by side with the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Government continues to prepare for the arrival of 300 evacuees in the first instance from the sister isle. Some 12,000 Vincentians are in need of shelter. St. Lucia's intake will increase as space is identified. They will be accommodated at various hotels. Also, a St. Lucian house bank has been launched. A registration form is to be filled out by St. Lucians who are willing and have the capacity to house displaced Vincentians. Interested St. Lucians can fill out the registration form, which can be accessed on the Government of St. Lucia website, www.govt.lc. From the Government Information Service, Lisa Joseph reporting.
Thank you, Lisa, for that report. We also have an update from the Ministry of Health and Wellness precautionary measures due to the La Soufriere volcano eruption in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So while the red alert has been issued for that island and also Barbados being covered in ash blocking the sunlight, we here in St. Lucia are also taking some precaution. The authorities have put some measures in place to ensure that the public, should they experience any difficulties with the air quality issues and so on due to the ashfall that we've so far experienced and will continue to experience, the Ministry of Health has issued some guidelines to help protect us, because it's not good to inhale ashfall, the ash in the air at all. Take a listen to Ms. Cheryl St. Romain from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness informs the citizens of St. Lucia of the eruption of the La Soufriere volcano in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The proximity of the 2 countries presents a potential for negative impacts, particularly to the south and southwestern sections of St. Lucia. During a volcanic eruption, gases such as carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and sulfur dioxide combined with water vapor in the atmosphere to form sulfurous and sulfuric acid, which forms a toxic mixture that can compromise the air quality, which when inhaled can be harmful to humans and animals. Additionally, the volcanic ash which forms can be carried via the wind, resulting in the deterioration of the quality of the water supply. Consequently, we wish to advise the public of the following precautionary measures to be taken in order to protect yourself and other people in your care. Stay indoors as much as possible, especially people with respiratory conditions. If you have to go out, ensure you are wearing a face covering, preferably a mask or damp cloth. Protect your eyes to avoid irritation. Keep your windows and doors closed where possible. Secure your pets and other animals and ensure they have an adequate supply of water and food. Secure your water storage facilities to prevent contamination from volcanic ash. Ensure you have an additional supply of water in the home to last at least 3 days. Wash fruits and vegetables thoroughly before consuming. If you have sensitive skin, cover where possible to prevent irritation. Whereas this situation has not been classified a public health hazard for St. Lucia, we urge everyone to continue to be vigilant and pay attention to updates from official sources. Please keep informed and stay safe, everyone.
That's the word there from Assistant Chief Environmental Health Officer Ms. Cheryl St. Romain, advising the public to take all precaution against the effects of the volcanic activity happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And similar to the pandemic guidelines, stay indoors as much as possible, remain indoors as much as possible, especially if you have breathing problems like bronchitis or asthma. And also in terms of food and water safety, you should ensure that your fruits and your vegetables are washed carefully, especially those covered with ash. So ash should not be ingested. Remember, the ash is really pulverized stone, so under normal circumstances you wouldn't feel comfortable eating or consuming stones. So just take all precautions against that. Cleaning up, wetting ash results in the formation of a glue-like material which is not easy to remove, and the best way of cleaning is to just lightly damp the ash to prevent it billowing and to sweep it up. Remove ash when safe, remembering that the ash particles may contain sharp broken edges, making it a very abrasive material. Clean the house roofs first to reduce windblown ash covering cleaned areas or damage to guttering and blocking down pipes. Dispose of the ash in rubbish bags if possible and seal them, and do not dump the ash in storm water or your sewage system. Vacuum indoor surfaces where possible, or use a damp cloth to remove ash. Avoid vigorous rubbing. So that's just part of the advisories being issued by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. We are definitely, as compared to Barbados and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Vincent is covered in ash. According to Prime Minister Honorable Gonzalez, he did indicate that in some parts that he visited, the ash was up to his ankles, his feet. And so there's definitely an experience being had in those locations, Barbados as well. But in St. Lucia, not too significant, but still you can tell the downcast, overcast atmosphere. That's a combination of the Saharan dust as well as some of the ashfall in the atmosphere. We do encourage you to please take precaution. As the official just indicated, we do not have a public health advisory. There is no urgency at the moment now for St. Lucia, but do ensure that you take care in the meantime. Do ensure that you stay indoors as much as possible. We are due for another break this morning. When we come back, we take a look at things from the COVID-19 front, our latest figures, and take a look back at the week that was. Unfortunately, we did not have the ability due to technical difficulties to bring you the week in review on Saturday. So we're just going to do a quick look back after this break. Stay with us.
The Regional Agreement on Access to Information, Public Participation and Justice in Environmental Matters in Latin America and the Caribbean, also known as the Escazú Agreement, has been ratified by St. Lucia. As we welcome its official entry into force on April 22nd, which is celebrated worldwide as International Mother Earth Day, let us ponder on why this agreement is so important to us all. This agreement, forged by our people, for our people, will guarantee every person of present and future generations the right to a healthy and sustainable environment. It will help us in St. Lucia, Latin America, and the wider Caribbean region to set common standards for access to information and justice on environmental issues, as well as the participation of the public at all levels in decisions that affect them. At the heart of the Escazú Agreement lies the principles of equality and non-discrimination. And so, as a human rights instrument, it will protect those who defend the environment, paying special attention to vulnerable persons and groups, and enabling the effective achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals of the 2030 Agenda. As a regional environmental agreement, it will strengthen cooperation and partnerships between our countries and help us find effective solutions to the problems that affect us all. As a platform for peace, it will strengthen our communities through better governance, transparency, and accountability. So join us as we strive to put in place the structures for the successful implementation of our Escazú Agreement. This land is ours. Let us rally together to make St. Lucia sustainable for all.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. This is the Morning Update live on NTN. We continue to watch over the La Soufriere volcano. The seismic unrest continues into this week. Of course, the current explosions are being generated. We're hearing from a new vent, and the explosions did destroy the previous vents from 1979 and the 2020-2021 vents as well. The volcano continues to erupt explosively and has now begun to generate pyroclastic density currents. That's as hot as 200 to 700 degrees Celsius, ground-hugging flows of ash and debris, that's ash, gases, and solidified lava as well. Our thoughts and prayers going out to the people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. St. Lucia stands ready and has already activated many of its response plans to assist the evacuees as well. We continue this morning with updates from the COVID-19 front here on island. Over the weekend, we registered word from the Ministry of Health on the 11th of April, 1 new case of COVID-19, and on the 10th, 15 new cases. Confirmation for the weekend was received for 14 and 8, so that's 22 individuals recovered in the last releases received from the Ministry of Health, bringing the total number of active cases here on island to 105. Presently, 3 of the active cases require a critical care at the respiratory hospital. The new cases bring the total number of cases registered since March of last year to 4,348. The Ministry of Health is pleased to announce that as of April 9th, 2021, a total of 23,257 individuals received the first dose of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, and 9 individuals have received their second dose. Everyone interested in getting vaccinated, you're encouraged to pre-register ahead of time via the online platform hmi.govt.lc or at the community center, wellness center nearest to you. Of course, the admonition on the part of the Ministry of Health is that we continue to practice the infection prevention and control measures, the recommendations that they've outlined. We're all familiar of it by now, in terms of the washing, frequent washing of your hands, the use of the mask, copious amounts of hand sanitizer, and observing the 6-foot distance. It needs to be recognized, continue to be recognized, because we continue to fight this virus. We continue to experience a pandemic globally. Persons are continuing to suffer with this virus, and we do hope that you're doing all you can to protect yourself and your family. Looking back at the week that was, we did have the first shipment of vaccines, Oxford AstraZeneca vaccines, coming through the COVAX facility. And we received 24,000 vaccines in that first shipment. On Wednesday, we did head on down to HIA Urinora International Airport for the momentous occasion. The Prime Minister did formally accept, and subsequently there was a ceremony on what this really meant in terms of our fight against COVID-19. We know the vaccines are one of the critical factors contingent on St. Lucia's steady recovery from this pandemic in the last year, and definitely a step in the right direction, progress in terms of our COVID-19 response here on island. We do have some scenes from the COVAX shipment arrival in this report from Fresnel Neptune. Take a look.
The government of St. Lucia recently accepted receipt of 24,000 doses of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine delivered through the COVAX facility. This first COVAX-supported shipment of vaccine will target individuals who are expected to receive the second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Prime Minister of St. Lucia, the Honorable Alan Chasney, says he is extremely grateful that the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, facilitated the procurement of the vaccine, which will help to protect St. Lucians against the COVID-19 virus.
Today we received 24,000 doses. We are on stream to receive 77,000, and we're hoping that before the end of the month, but that's always subject to change, before the end of the month that we'll receive at least another third of our dosage. And I would imagine that that would be what would be in line. I want to thank the CMO and her team, who made a very quick decision once we knew that we were going to get COVAX to proceed to use all of the doses that we had, the 24,000, for our first round. And so therefore, the doses that we've received today will be used for those persons who have already received their first dose.
Minister for Health, Senator the Honorable Mary Isaac says she is delighted to witness the arrival of the vaccine for the COVAX facility and encourages St. Lucians to get vaccinated.
I want to thank all of those St. Lucians who have come forward to take the vaccine, and I want to encourage everyone to continue to take their vaccines so that eventually we will be protecting not just ourselves, but we will be protecting our loved ones, family and friends. We will be protecting our economy so that we can reopen our economy to enable those persons out there who are unemployed to get back into the workforce and sustain themselves and their families.
PAHO Country Program Specialist Reynolds Hewitt says his organization remains committed to ensuring that countries in the region have sufficient supply of vaccine.
The pre-qualifications of vaccines to be used through COVAX allows PAHO to offer vaccines with the highest effectiveness and safety standards. The vaccine supplies continue to be a great challenge, and a large part of this is due to delays in production as manufacturers scale up capacity. The goal of the COVAX facility is to provide vaccine for at least 20% of the population in each participating country globally. With this aim of protecting those at risk and to save as many lives as possible, COVAX remains the best option to offer vaccines with equity.
The COVAX facility is a global partnership between the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, CEPI, Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, UNICEF, the Pan American Health Organization, and the World Health Organization. In the coming weeks, St. Lucia will receive another batch of the COVID-19 vaccine through the COVAX facility. Reporting from the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, I am Fernell Neptune.
Thank you, Fernell, for that report. The COVID-19 pandemic continues to affect countries around the world on two fronts, not just health, but also the economic front. And the lockdown and job losses that so far have happened, they've had crippling effects in the global business community. Despite those woes, St. Lucia has been able to sustain itself in the investment marketplace. Invest St. Lucia has reported that not only is the island maintaining foreign direct interest, local investment has been strong, they indicate. We have a report. Take a look. In its 2020 review, Invest St. Lucia, ISL, assures that the island remains a key investment destination. Chief Executive Officer Roderick Cherry says despite a 42% plummet in global foreign direct investment last year, St. Lucia has maintained appeal with all its investors. ISL is currently facilitating a total pipeline worth EC $4.8 million. In its recent annual press conference, Sherry reported that the organization exceeded investment and job targets in 2019 and 2020.
In 2020, even with the lockdown in the tourism sector because of COVID, there was a 32% increase in Invest St. Lucia's pipeline for facilitation in the tourism industry. There remains a high interest from established brands such as Marriott, Hyatt, and Hilton. ISL was able to facilitate one new investor that led to one new hotel opening during 2020.
Another focus of Investor St. Lucia is the business process outsourcing sector, which saw 20% growth from both new and incumbent investors under ISL facilitation. In 2020, the sector created 771 new jobs in the market and is projected to create an additional 1,025 jobs in 2021. Investor St. Lucia also saw returns on its concerted effort to reach out to the local market. 20 proposals were vetted in the last 6 months, worth a projected $117 million and 1,025 jobs. ISL chairman is Pinkley Francis.
We've seen a lot of the local investors put in money out to grow their business. I mean, with permission, we can spoke about, we're in discussion with Baron Foods, and we are facilitating a major expansion in excess of $30 million. We've seen Bryson Company down in Beaufort making major expansion and stepping into industries they have never done before. So not just foreign investments are showing an interest in St. Lucia, which is obviously big for us, but we have embraced the local investors and they are taking up the challenge and growing as well, which is very, very pleasing to me. I'm excited about that.
Investor St. Lucia is also steady on its mission to make 600 St. Lucians landowners by 2021.
We were able to create 100 new landowners in 2020. We continue on that quest with the addition of Lafargue development to our other housing developments at Boisjoli in Dennery, Bosha in Miku. And we are looking forward to the completion of the Lafargue development.
By the end of 2021, Investor St. Lucia will also make available 1,055 land lots for sale under its land rationalization project. For the Government Information Service, I am Jessie Leonce reporting. More updates on the other end of this break. Stay with us.
St. Lucia continues to lead the way in efforts to make access rights to environmental information a reality for all its citizens. To this end, it has ratified the Escazú Agreement and welcomed its official entry into force on April 22nd, which is celebrated worldwide as International Mother Earth Day. This regional agreement will guarantee every person, present and future generation, the right to a healthy environment. Ever guided by the principles on equality and non-discrimination, this human rights treaty will protect those who defend the environment, give special attention to vulnerable persons and groups, ensure that everyone is involved at all stages of the decision-making process when it comes to projects and activities that impact the environment and our health. As an environmental agreement, it will strengthen community engagement in finding solutions to cross-cutting issues like land degradation, biodiversity loss, water pollution, and climate change. So join us as we begin to put in place framework for the effective implementation of our Escazú Agreement. This land is ours. Let us rally together to make St. Lucia sustainable for all.
Thank you so much for staying with us. The Royal St. Lucia Police Force has committed to doubling up on its efforts to fight crime to ensure a safe and secure nation. And that assurance has come from the Commissioner of Police, Top Cop Milton Daisy, as the Royal St. Lucia Police Force registers success in reducing the overall crime rate. A comparative analysis of 2019 and 2020 shows a 2% reduction in reported crimes. The police force has also recorded a 58% detection rate, the highest for the force over the past 10 years. There were 55 homicides for 2020 with a 23% detection rate by police. And while some serious crimes declined overall, there was a 43% increase in firearm offenses offenses. We have Corporal Ann Joseph. She is the press relations officer speaking on these latest figures.
In the year 2020, we recorded 102 illegal firearms being seized by officers in various operations. And that is the highest recorded number of recoveries over a 5-year period. There was also a general decrease in the major categories of sexual offenses when compared to the previous year. Rape reduced by 7%, and sexual intercourse with an individual between 12 and 16, indecent assault, gross indecency also declined. There was a general 22% decrease from 2019 as it relates to sexual offenses, and that was the lowest reported figure over a 5-year period. Offenses against the person also recorded a decrease of 943, or 28% in reported cases when compared to 2019. The offenses of harm, attempted murder, wounding, robbery, maim, dangerous harm and assaults all experienced decreases in the year 2020 when compared to 2019.
Police have indicated that they've also made headway in terms of crimes against person and property.
3,788 offenses against property, and that is offenses such as burglary, theft, damage to property, were recorded island-wide in 2020, and that was a decline of 687 cases, or 15% when compared to 2019, with an increased detection rate, 37%, which is the highest recorded rate for the organization, and that was in the year 2020.
And despite that success, Commissioner Milton Daisy has said that he remains concerned about the rate of gun violence and related crimes. The commissioner has disclosed that among several strategies to arrest this situation, there are stricter regulations on ammunition on the way.
We have intel where some persons get their firearm through persons who have licensed firearm holders, because licensed firearm holders can walk up to a dealer and present their license and buy ammunition. So I believe we need to control the ammunition that is going out. So we are putting things in place so that persons, in as much as you get a license to purchase your firearm, persons would now, and when things are in, when we have completed that process, persons would now need to get a permit from the Office of Commissioner to replenish your firearm, your ammunition. So, for example, we could decide that you could have 50 rounds of ammunition, and I believe that is enough for somebody who has a license to keep. You have 50, a box has 50 rounds of ammunition, and you would need to give a report. How did you dispose of these 50 rounds of ammunition before you could be replenished?
That was Commissioner of Police Milton Daisy speaking during an update to the nation on NTN, accompanied by the press relations officer, Corporal Ann Joseph. We continue quickly with our updates. The Department of Agriculture, in collaboration with the Taiwan Technical Mission, has officially launched the iFarm application. Anicia Antoine from that ministry has the details.
The Department of Agriculture for the past 3 years has been collaborating with the Taiwan Technical Mission on the enhancing of the efficiency of the production distribution supply chain in the fruit and vegetable sector project, also known as the 7 Crops Project, with the aim of reducing the food import bill. The most recent output of the 7 Crops Project is the iFarm application. The application aims to solve the long-standing challenges of accurate and timely data collection. It allows for the capturing of information on current crops of farmers and potential yield, the reporting of market data, and the production of reports on farmer produce in any geographic location island-wide. Ambassador of the Republic of China, Taiwan, His Excellency Peter Shen, expressed hope that the iFarm app will assist in developing St. Lucia's agriculture sector.
The adoption of digital technologies in precision agriculture has been adjusting the ways that farmers grow their crops and manage fields. I'm privileged to witness this new chapter of agricultural collaboration between Taiwan and St. Lucia. By introducing this new integrated agricultural information system, iFarm. It is a sustainable, convenient, and transparent communication tool which connects the demand and the supply ends, thus able to expand market access and income of local farmers. I believe that this technology leap will bring significant benefits to solutions through different aspects, even adapting to impacts of climate change and advancing food security.
Extension officers island-wide recently received training on how to proficiently use the application. Regional Head of Region 5, Francis Kodra, expressed gratitude to the governments of St. Lucia and Taiwan for undertaking this initiative.
They certainly invested much needed resources ensuring the ARS app moved from dream to reality to practical usefulness. It is my hope that this app will be utilized meaningfully and strategically to further development of the agricultural sector, especially the areas of vegetable production, and that accurate data can be collected for future programming that will redound to the benefit of our farmers and our nation.
Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries, Physical Planning, Natural Resources and Cooperatives, Honorable Ezekiel Joseph, commended the 7 Crops project team on the success achieved to date. The minister encouraged officers to use the software effectively.
That technology that we are launching here today should not be populated in the office. And I'm happy to hear our 2 extension officers speak about the need of inputting accurate information. Because by inputting accurate information, we will be in a position to make that determination as to how we provide licenses for the importation of crops. And that's important. Because when we agreed to implement the 7th crop program, we made it clear that we would discontinue the issuing of licenses if we have the production at the field level.
The next step of the 7 Crops project is to provide training for farmers on how to efficiently use the iFarm application. From the Information Unit of the Ministry of Agriculture, I am Anicia Antoine reporting.
And finally, thank you very much, Anicia, for that report. And finally, the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Gender Relations and Sustainable Development will soon deliver a state-of-the-art school to the community of Lage Babano. A new Lage Primary School was first earmarked for construction in 2010, but was delayed as a result of the passage of Hurricane Tomas. Take a look at this this report of progress being delivered. The signing ceremony for the building of the Lage Combined Primary School signaled the commencement of the long-anticipated phase of the project. At a small ceremony at the Ministry of Education's conference room, stakeholders witnessed the contract signing between the Government of St. Lucia and Construction and Industrial Equipment Limited. The school will be built on a lot of 16,412 square feet, of which 15,250 square feet will be occupied by the structure at a cost of EC $7,552,297.97. The nearby Lage Community Playing Field will accommodate some of the school's sporting activity. Mary Grace Auguste is the project coordinator of the Education Quality Improvement Project EQUIP.
The facility, as per the designs of the firm Danyan CE Limited, will comprise 3 stories, a basement, a ground floor and a first floor. The top floor will house 4 classrooms, 1 library, which will double up as an IT laboratory, and 1 music room. The ground floor will house 4 classrooms, a sick bay, staff, stroke common room, and principal's office. The basement level, which was redesigned by Danyan CE Limited from previous designs, will house an open breezeway, male and female washroom facilities, and janitorial storage area.
CEO of Construction and Industrial Equipment Limited, Reno Gajada, pledged his company's commitment to delivering this project in a timely manner.
However, I must also say that because the school is going up in the Lague area, I will make every opportunity available for the people of the Lague area to be part of the building of the school. That way they will be. That way they will know what's going on, how it's going on, and feel that they were part of it even 20 years later, especially the young people who may be able to work on the project.
Parliamentary Representative for Babonneau, Honorable Ezekiel Joseph, expressed elation at the commencement of the building phase despite many hurdles. He says he is pleased that community inclusion is being made a priority as part of this project.
I want to say that I'm happy that we have a local contractor, because one of the concerns I expressed when I was told about the bidding process, and I heard a number of international and regional contractors, who were shortlisted, meeting CDB's requirement. I expressed one concern. What is it in it for my Lague people? And Mr. Reno, I'm happy. One of the reasons I'm here today, you have spoken to it. I'm happy to hear that serious consideration will be given to people in Lague who have the skill and expertise and commitment to participate during the construction phase. And I'm open, ready to work along with your team in ensuring that this happens.
Minister for Education, Innovation, Gender Relations and Sustainable Development, Honorable Dr. Gail Rigobert, thanked stakeholders for their patience during the lengthy process of meeting the requirements prior to the construction phase. She underscored the various considerations to be implemented during the building of the school.
I want to underscore the fact that this is a smart school for smart children. And what do we mean by smart school? I can see my colleagues starting to smile behind their masks already. What do we mean by a smart school? And some of this was shared with you a moment ago. That it is climate smart, climate resilient, that it is energy smart. By that we mean that it has the capacity to leverage renewable energy so as to allow for us to realize energy efficiency gains. I know too that it is smart to the extent that we recognize the different capabilities and physical capacity of our students with respect to accessibility and motorability.
A prerequisite of co-financier Caribbean Development Bank CDB for the construction of the Lague Primary School included an environmental and social management plan. For the Government Information Service, I am Jessie Leonce reporting. Well, we've come to the end of our morning update live on NTN. We'd like to thank you so much for watching. Please be advised, please take note of what's happening in St. Vincent. The word we received this morning at 6 a.m. was that at about 4:15 a.m. observations from the Belmont Observatory indicated that pyroclastic density currents entered multiple valleys surrounding the volcano. So those currents are as hot as 200 to 700 degrees Celsius, ground-hugging flows of ash, debris, gases, solidified lava, and we did see some visuals earlier this morning of some of the effects that and also the ashfall is having in the country. The current explosions are being generated from a new vent, so the vent that existed in '79 and from 2020 to 2021 at the start of the year. That has been gone altogether. There's a new vent that has made up the volcano at this time, and it continues to erupt explosively and has now come to generate the pyroclastic flow. Our thoughts and prayers are going out to the residents of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, also Barbados experiencing ashfall. We here in St. Lucia do not have any declaration of emergency or urgency in that respect, but we do hope that if you are experiencing any air quality issues, you can call the NEMO, let them know how they can assist you, because arrangements have been made for residents right here in St. Lucia who may be experiencing some difficulties with the ashfall. My name is Jessie Leonce. Do keep safe. Want to remind you, if you have sufficient, you've been blessed with sufficient space and you can find it in your heart to accommodate a Vincentian family, the Ministry of Health, the Government of St. Lucia has launched a program through which you can register to accommodate evacuees. So you can go onto the website govt.lc or the Cognitos Forms website, cognitosforms.com/capital GITS, the number 1/capital GOSLSVG, and you could fill out that form and let them know that you're interested in accommodating those in need at this time, and you will hear from them soon enough. Do keep safe meantime until we meet tomorrow morning, God willing. And do, in your going out and coming in, please keep safe. Ensure that you're wearing your mask, you're observing all of the COVID-19 protocols. They remain in effect. And considering the ashfall, please remain indoors as much as possible. Cheers, keep safe until we meet tomorrow. My name is Jessie Leonce, signing off for now. Goodbye.